beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, lovingly we bow at thy feet. Divine Mother, sing through our voices this evening. Bless our hearts that we may feel your presence, feel your consciousness, feel your divine love flowing through us in pure devotion, in oneness with thee. Om. Peace. Amen. This evening as we chant, we're honoring the first day of spring. This is a perfect day and moment to dive deep into an inner awareness. These little moments of the equinoxes and the solstices in the year are a kind of a time of pause, a time of change. And today in particular, given that this has been rather a monumental week, the last week or 10 days have really changed what's happening in the world around us, we can use this little moment of shift in the energy of the planet, moving from winter to spring, to renew our inner awareness, renew our contact with Divine Mother. And so this evening as we chant together, Nirmala will share some of the little prescriptions that Yogananda gave for the chants. They have a certain character. Each chant has a certain power, a certain energy to it. And many of them he gave a use for them. He described situations in which we would use them. So sing out loud, sing with joy, sing with pure devotion for God and the Masters. This is very different from most of the singing that we do. Most of the singing that we do is about God or about something, how great God is. And, we sing about praising God. In chanting, we sing to God. We sing to that listening presence that is intimately with us. And so let's sing with that spirit this evening and feel in our hearts, feel for Divine Mother's response, feel for her love and her harmony, and feel her voice singing not only through us but with us as we chant together.
What's the first one you'd like to do?
Listen, listen, listen.
Okay. So, Master said this about the chant, listen, listen, listen. Sing when you want to strengthen the inner tie with God. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song.
In between each chant, there is an intentional pause, and take that pause as an opportunity to assimilate the energy of the chant. Feel it going into the heart and really deeply becoming part of our being, becoming part of our nature. And another way to look at it would be to become part of our future. Feel that this message is a permanent one, that it becomes a lasting legacy for us. We'll also have a meditation after a couple more chants that'll be a little bit longer, but this next chant is Pole Star of My Life.
And this is what...
I think this one doesn't have
Oh,
one.
this one doesn't have one.
This just seemed appropriate to the spirit of the times. I have made thee pole star of my life, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy.
I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through
sea is dark and my stars are gone. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Sing light the lamp of thy love.
It's with you. The rest are with you.
Oh. Well, in that case, while I have the guitar, I'll do Lord When in Darkness. So this is a song, a chant that was written in Italian, and I'd like to sing it in Italian first, and then after that I'll sing it in English. This is written by Swami Kriyananda, Lord When in Darkness, or the Italian is Dio nella notte. Lord when in darkness, Lord in confusion, always I'll follow thee. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. nella notte, Dio nel buio, seguirò sempre te. Dio nella notte, Dio nel buio, seguirò sempre te. Quando mi perdo, quando piango, so che tu sei con me. Quando mi perdo, quando piango, so che tu sei con me. Vivo solo per amarti, oh Signore. Vivo solo per amarti, oh Signore. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. Dio nella notte, Dio nel buio, seguirò sempre te. Dio nella notte, Dio nel buio, seguirò sempre te. Quando mi perdo, quando piango, so che tu sei con me. Quando mi perdo, quando piango, so che tu sei con me. Vivo solo per amarti, oh Signore. Vivo solo per amarti, oh Signore. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. Lord, when in darkness, Lord, in confusion, always I'll follow thee. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. If I grieve or lose my way, only thou canst comfort me. All I live for is to love thee, my eternal friend. All I live for is to love thee, my This next chant will be Light the Lamp of Thy Love. So you can read the little thingy.
And this is what Master says about this chant. Chant this for invoking God and asking for illumination.
Master sang this chant on the day before his Mahasamadhi, the day before he left the body. And it's as if he wanted to leave a little marker for us, something to just bear in mind, his connectedness with us. So let's feel his presence as we sing this chant. With thine own hands light the lamp of thy love. In my house with thine own hands light the lamp of thy love. Thy transmuting lamp entrancing, thy transmuting lamp entrancing, wondrous are its rays. Change my darkness to thy light, Lord. Change my darkness to thy light, and my evil into good. Touch me but once and I will change. Touch me but once and I will change. All my clay into thy gold. All the sense lamps that I did light, sooted into worries, sitting at the door of my soul, sitting at the door of my soul. Light thy resurrecting lamp in my house with thine own hands. Light the lamp of thy love in my house with thine own hands. Light the lamp of thy love. Thy transmuting lamp entrancing, thy transmuting lamp entrancing, wondrous are its rays. Change my darkness to thy light, Lord. Change my darkness to thy light, and my evil into good. Touch me but once and I will change. Touch me but once and I will change. All my clay into thy gold. All the sense lamps that I did light, sooted into worries, sitting at the door of my soul, sitting at the door of my soul. Light thy resurrecting lamp in my house with thine own hands. Light the lamp of thy love in my house with thine own hands. Light the lamp of thy love. Thy transmuting lamp entrancing, thy transmuting lamp entrancing, wondrous are its rays. Change my darkness to thy light, Lord. Change my darkness to thy light, and my evil into good. Touch me but once and I will change. Touch me but once and I will change. All my clay into thy gold. All the sense lamps that I did light, sorted into worms, sitting at the door of my soul, sitting at the door of my soul. Light thy resurrecting love, light thy resurrecting love, light thy resurrecting love. In my house with thine own hands light the lamp of thy love. In my house with thine own hands light the lamp of thy love. In my house with thine own hands light the lamp of thy love. We'll meditate together now for a few minutes. This next chant will be Deliver Us from Delusion.
And Master says about this chant, this is for invoking the Guru's help for freedom from ignorance, sickness, or failure.
There's an expression in this chant that may seem a bit unfamiliar, and for Westerners, think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. The feet of the Guru is sort of the point of contact, or the point of connection, in a sense, in a very human way. In India, the tradition when one greets one's Guru is to touch his feet, his or her feet, and that establishes a kind of magnetic connection. It's not in sort of self-deprecation. It's more just a sense of wanting to connect. And so feel that this is a chant of connection. We're drawing on the eternal, infinite presence of Guru beyond all time, beyond all space, beyond all limitation. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. If you want to cross the ocean of illusion, if you want to cross the ocean of delusion, shaming the white lotus in purity, shaming the white lotus in purity, beyond all duality, Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. If you want to cross the ocean of illusion, if you want to cross the ocean of illusion, shaming the white lotus in purity, shaming the white lotus in purity, beyond all duality, Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thy Guru. If you want to cross the ocean of illusion, if you want to cross the white lotus in purity, beyond all duality. Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Guru, image of Brahma, deliver us from delusion. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thine Guru. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thine Guru. Think ye in thy heart, lotus feet of thine Guru.
Well, I have a story for you, and I will preface this story by telling you a little story about when I first came to Ananda. And one of my very first houses was a yurt, a one-room yurt on a hillside, very, very rustic, no running water, no electricity, far from everything, just out in the woods. It was magnificent. And one day, a sort of frightening thing happened, and that was that the door to my little yurt I had left open. It was warm and I was just getting air into the house. There were windows all around the yurt, and a little hummingbird flew in, and he couldn't find his way out. Well, I left him alone for a moment, hoping he would just see that the door was just a couple of feet away from the window, where he was battering himself against the window, trying to get out. Clear glass. It was so confusing to him that he could see the sky, but he couldn't get there. Finally, I realized he would kill himself if I didn't help him. So I, as gently as I could, I came up to him as he was fluttering wildly, and I got him in my hands. Poor little guy had blood coming out of his beak, just a little trickle. I think he healed, I hope. But I carefully held this little fluttering being and took him to the door and let him go. And I've never forgotten the experience of holding a hummingbird in my hands. And I've never forgotten the experience of how unnatural windows are We have them all over our houses, apartment buildings, office buildings, everywhere in our urban world. And every year they kill millions and millions of birds. Well, this morning I read an article that I subsequently put on our newsletter today. So if you want to read it, it's there. It's called "Bats Are Not to Blame, Humans Are." And this article is basically saying that the coronavirus has come to us because we've destroyed so much animal habitat. And so when you have a situation like the Wuhan wet markets, these animals have been marginalized, their habitats destroyed, which stresses them very much. And then they're in a close confinement with all kinds of other animals that they're not used to being around. And all of them are extremely stressed. So the article explains that it's like us. We carry viruses in our bodies. For example, like the cold sore virus, and we just carry it, and it doesn't express unless we're stressed, and then we get a cold sore. So these little animals are like that too. When they're very upset and very stressed out, then their viruses express, and they shed those viruses. And it's not a big leap to go from species to species and jump to humans too. So the article said that the way that we can change this is by restoring those habitats, having animals not be used for medicine or pets or food in these markets where they've been hunted down and captured, and they're in this really incredible environment, but to try to get back to a natural order. Otherwise, we get over this virus and, others multiply. So, to honor the animals, I want to read you a story. This is a favorite story of mine, and I could tell it, but it's written so beautifully, and I don't want to lose any of the details, so I'm going to read it to you. It's many pages, so close your eyes and enjoy. Once the compassionate one was born as a banyan deer. When he was grown, he became leader of the herd. He guided his herd wisely and led them to the heart of a secluded forest where, sheltered by the giant trees, they lived free from danger. Then a new king came into power over the land. And above all things, this king loved hunting. As soon as the sun rose, he would mount his horse and lead his men on a furious chase through fields and meadows, forests and glens. Shooting his arrows madly, he would not leave off until the sun was set. Then the wagons rolled back to the palace behind him, filled with deer, boar, rabbit, pheasant, monkey, leopard, bear, tiger, and lion. And the king was happy. His people, however, were not happy. Fields had been ruined by the royal hunt. Farmers and merchants had been forced to leave off their work in order to beat the jungles and drive the hidden beasts towards the waiting king and his men. Affairs of state, too, lay unattended. The people, determined to bring an end to all this, devised a simple plan. They built a stockade deep in the forest. "We'll trap a herd or two of deer in this stockade," they said. "Then the king can hunt all he wants. Let him hunt to his heart's content. He won't ruin our fields or force us to leave our shops. Then let him be happy." The stockade was built, and 2 herds of deer were driven within its walls. The gates were closed, and the delicate animals, charging and wheeling in frantic circles, sought some way out. But there was no way out. Exhausted at last, they stood trembling, awaiting their fate. The men left happily to tell the king of their great success. One of the herds that had been captured was the herd of the banyan deer. The banyan deer walked among his herd. Sunlight played on his many-branched antlers. His black eyes shone, and his muzzle was wet. "The blue sky is overhead. Green grass grows at our feet," he told the others. "Do not give up. Where there is life, there is hope. I will find a way." And so he strove to ease their fears. Soon the king arrived to view the newly captured herds. He was pleased. He strung his bow in preparation for the hunt. Noticing the 2 deer kings below, he said, "The leaders of both herds are magnificent animals. No one is to shoot them. They shall be spared." Then, standing on the wall, looking down over the stockade, he sent his arrows flying into the milling herds. The deer became frantic. Racing wildly, they injured one another with hooves and horns as they sought to escape the deadly rain of arrows. And so it went. Every few days, the king and his courtiers would return to the stockade, and every few days more of the gentle deer were killed. Many others were wounded by the flying arrows. Still others were injured in the effort to escape. The king of the banyan deer met with the leader of the other herd. "Brother," he said, "we are trapped. I've tried every way, but all are barred against us. The pain our subjects suffer is unbearable. As you know, when the arrows fly, many get badly hurt just trying to stay alive. Let us hold a lottery. Each day, all the deer, one day from your herd, one day from mine, must pick a straw. Then, the one single deer to whom the lottery falls will go stand near the wall just below the king. That one deer must offer itself to be shot. It is a terrible solution, but at least this way we can keep many from needless injury and pain." And the leader of the other herd agreed. The next day, when the king and his couriers arrived, they found one trembling deer standing directly below them. Its legs and body were shaking, but it held its head high. "What is this?" said the king. "Ah, I see. These are noble deer indeed. They have chosen that one deer alone shall die rather than they all should suffer from our hunt. These deer kings have wisdom." A heaviness descended on the king's heart. "We will accept their terms," he announced. "From now on, shoot only the one deer that stands below." And unstringing his bow, the king descended from the stockade wall and rode back in silence to the palace. That night the king tossed and turned, a radiant deer pacing through his dreams. One day the lot fell on a pregnant doe. She went to her king, the leader of the other herd, and said, "I will willingly go and fulfill the lottery once my fawn is safely born. But if I go now, both I and my unborn child will die. Please spare me for now. I do not ask for myself, but for the sake of the child that is soon to be born." But the leader of the herd said, "The law is the law. I cannot spare you. The lottery has fallen on you and you must die. There are no exceptions. Justice demands that you go." In desperation, she ran to the banyan deer. She fell on her knees before him and begged for his aid. He listened quietly, observing her with wide and gentle eyes. "Rise, sister," he said, "and go free. You are right. The terms of the lottery require that only one need die. Therefore you shall be freed from the lottery until your fawn is born. I will see that it is done." Too overjoyed for words, the grateful doe bowed and then bounded away. The banyan deer king rose to his feet. There was no other he could send to take her place. He had spared her, therefore he himself must replace her. How could it be otherwise? He walked calmly, with great dignity, through the browsing herd. They watched him as he moved among them, his great curving antlers and strong shoulders, his shining eyes and sharp black hooves, all reassured and comforted them. Never had their banyan deer king let them down. Never had he abandoned them. If there was a way, he would find it. If there was a chance to save another, he would take it. Not once had he lorded it over them. He was a king indeed, for his whole herd took comfort in his presence. The couriers were waiting with bows drawn atop the stockade. When they saw it was the deer king who had come to stand below, they called out, "O king of the banyan deer, you know our king has spared you. Why are you here?" "I have come so that 2 others need not die. Now shoot. You have your work and I have mine." But lowering their bows, they sent a message to the king, "Your Majesty, come with all speed to the stockade." Not long after, the king arrived, riding like the wind with his robes streaming behind him. "What is it?" he called. "Why have you summoned me?" "Come, Your Majesty," the men called. "Look." Dismounting from his horse, the king hurried up the rough wooden steps and looked down over the wall. The banyan deer stood below. Then Deer King and Human King looked at one another. "Banyan King," said the king of men at last, "I know you. I have seen you gliding through the forest of my dreams. Why are you here? Have I not freed you from my hunt?" "Great king," replied the banyan deer, "what ruler can be free if his people suffer? Today a doe with fawn asked for my aid. The lottery had fallen on her, and both her and her unborn fawn were to die. The lottery requires that only one shall die, and I shall be that one. I shall take her place. The lottery shall be fulfilled. This is my right and my duty as king." A stone rolled from the king's heart. "Noble banyan deer," he said, "you are right. A king should care for the least of his subjects. It is a lesson I have been long in learning, but today, through your sacrifice, you have made it clear to me. So I shall give you a gift, a teacher's fee for the lesson you have taught me. You and your whole herd are freed. None of you shall be hunted again. Go and live in peace. But the banyan deer said, Great King, that is indeed a noble gift, but I cannot leave yet. May I speak further? Speak on, noble deer, said the king. O King of men, if I depart to safety with my herd, will that not mean that the remaining herd shall simply suffer all the more? Each day you shall kill only them. They will have no respite. A rain of arrows will fall upon them, while I desire above all things the safety of my people. I cannot buy it at the cost of increasing the suffering of others. Do you understand? The human king was stunned. What? He exclaimed. Would you then risk your own and your herd's freedom for others? Yes, said the banyan deer, I will. Think of their anguish, great king. Imagine their sufferings and let them too go free. The king of men paused and pondered. At last he lifted his head and smiled. Never have I seen such nobility or such resolute concern. How can I refuse you? You shall have your wish. The other herd too shall go free. Now, can you go off with your own herd and be at peace? But the banyan deer answered, No, great king, I cannot. I think of all the other wild, four-footed creatures. Like them, I have lived my life surrounded by dangers and by fears. How could I live in peace, knowing the terrors they must endure? I beg you, mighty king, have pity on them. There can be no peace unless they too are free. The king of men was again astonished. He had never imagined such a thing. He thought, and slowly the truth of the banyan deer's words grew true to him. It was true, he realized. There is no real peace unless it benefits everyone. You are right, great deer, said the king of men at last. Never again in all my realm shall any four-footed creature be slain. They are all freed from my hunt. Rabbit, boar, bear, lion, leopard, tiger, deer, all. Never again shall they fall to my huntsman's arrows. So, my teacher, have you now found peace? But the banyan deer said, No, great king, I have not. What, my lord, of the defenseless ones of the air? The birds, O great king, live surrounded by a net of danger. Stones and arrows shall greet them now wherever they fly. They shall fall from the skies like a rain through your kingdom. They shall know such suffering as can hardly be imagined. O great king, I beg you, let them go free. Release them also. Great one, said the king of men, you drive a hard bargain and are determined, it seems, to make us all farmers. But yes, I shall free the birds. They shall now fly freely throughout my kingdom. No man shall hunt them again. Then may they build their nests in peace. Now, are you satisfied? Are you at last at peace? Great king, answered the banyan deer, think, if you will, of the silent ones of your realm, the fish, my lord. If I do not speak now for them, who will? While they swim the lakes, the rivers, the oceans of your land, hooks, nets, and spears will be ever poised above them. How can they have peace? How can I have peace when they abide in such danger? Great King, I beg you, spare them all as well. Noble beings, said the King of men, tears trickling down his cheeks. O compassionate one, never before have I been moved to think in such a way, but yes, I do so agree. The fish too of my kingdom shall be free. They shall swim throughout my land, and no one shall kill them again. Now all of you assembled couriers and attendants, announced the king, hear my words, this is my proclamation. See that it is posted throughout the land. From this day forth, all beings in my realm shall be recognized as my own dear subjects and under my protection. None shall be trapped, none hunted, none killed. This is my lasting decree. See to it that it is fulfilled. Now tell me, noble one, he said, turning to the banyan deer once more, are you at peace? Flocks of birds flew overhead and perched, singing from among the nearby trees. Deer grazed calmly on the green grass. Yes, said the banyan deer, now I am at peace. And he leaped up, kicking like a fawn. He leaped for joy, sheer joy. They were all free. Then he thanked the king, and gathering his herd, departed with them back into the depths of the forest. The king had a stone pillar set on the spot where he had spoken with the banyan deer. Carved upon it was the figure of a deer encircled with these words, homage to the noble banyan deer, compassionate teacher of kings. Then he too lived on, caring wisely for all creatures. So as human beings, we are living as kings in this world. We have so much power over all the other creatures who are at our mercy. Let us live like the wise king, taught by the banyan deer, to cherish and protect all creatures. And in so doing, we balance nature and we become healed ourselves. Now we'll have a little more chanting and meditation.
So we'll sing Hymn to Brahma, which has a little prescription to go with it.
Sing the hymn to Brahma to invoke the help of the masters and the gurus.
Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurti Nandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tatamhasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Nimala Machalam Sarvades Shakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Namami, full of bliss, giving joy transcendent, of higher knowledge the abode, do all no more, clear as the heavens, known to all as thou art, that he is pure, permanent, unmoving, the everlasting seer of all, are far beyond qualities and thought. Guru Lord, I bow to thee. This next chant is When My Dream's Dream is Done.
Master says to chant this chant for overcoming the fear of death and for achieving ascension in God.
This chant has 2 verses. The melody is very complicated in this one. This is a I suppose a kind of an approximation of a melody that probably has lots of variations, and it may be that Master never played it the same way twice. I really don't know. I know that these kinds of chants in India are often sort of a beginning point, and so this is one rendition of that. But the words are, whence do they come here, whither do they flit away? In all folly's dark sway, keep floating on hope's way. Take the dust of each one's feet, serving mother where she sleeps. Whence do they come here, whither do they flit away? So long as life sweetly smiles, let us all swim in smiles. When my dream's dream is done, she will lift me on her lap. Whither do life sweetly smiles, let us all sweetly smiles. When my dreams dream is done, she will lift me on. When my dreams dream is done, she will lift me on. So long as life sweetly smiles, let us all sweetly smiles. When my dreams dream is done, she will lift me on. When my dreams dream is done, she will lift me on. When my dreams dream is done, she will lift me We'll sing now In the Temple of Silence. It has one of those.
In the Temple of Silence, Yogananda says to chant when you are restless, when you are worried, or angry.
Some in the temple of bliss. I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace. I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss. I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. In the temple of silence, in the temple of peace, in the temple of silence, in the temple of peace. I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of peace, and coax thee to my altar of peace. In the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss, in the temple of samadhi, in the temple of bliss. I will meet thee, I will touch thee, I will love thee, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss, and coax thee to my altar of bliss. We'll conclude our chanting this evening with one of Swami Kriyananda's chants, "Fill my body with the sound of Om."
my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om.
Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om.
Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om.
Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om.
Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill me with the sound of Om. Fill me with the sound of Om.
Let's close now by sending out vibrations of Om and blessing throughout this world, bringing peace and harmony and deep, deep connection to the divine. Let's rub our hands together and feel God's power, God's grace flowing through our voices, our hands, our hearts, our lives, and filling this world. Om. 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 Amen. God bless you all. Thank you for being with us.